What's going on, guys? This is Leo V from Ranger Rabble, and I got a special guest here with me.
Yo, what's up, Leo V? Hey, I just want to give a shout out to Ranger Rabble. You know what's going down. Hey, and you know what time it is, right?
It's morphin time.
All day, every day. Let's go.
Alpha, Rita's escaped. Recruit me a podcast with attitude. Ranger Rabble, we need you. Leo V, Kyle D, may the power protect you. It's morphin time.
Go, go.
Rabble, Ranger Rabble.
What's going on, Ranger fans? Welcome to episode 27 of Ranger Rabble. As always, I'm Kyle D.
I'm Leo V, and today we are joined by an extra special guest of the Power Ranger community. You may know her from Instagram as Beauty Baba Yaga. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Anytime. Today we are talking about Power Rangers Beast Morphers. And when we were talking about this season, I just remember seeing all of your awesome cosplays from this season and couldn't think of anyone else better to have on the show. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I think it's very fortuitous that you're talking about Beast Morphers because it's one of my favorite seasons, so I'll actually know what I'm talking about.
And based off of Japanese, here we go. Tokumi Sentai Go Buster. I think I said that right.
I always just abbreviate. Drop the first word, drop Sentai. Everyone knows Sentai's there. Just go with Go Busters. You know?
When I was watching at least the first episode of Go Busters, I was like, oh, right, Go Busters, Grid Battleforce. That's where they get the GB from. So nice that they I guess they kind of had to because it was on their uniforms. So they needed to come up with something for that.
Yeah, and it's interesting when it starts, you don't really think about it. You're like, yeah, Grid Battleforce, sure, military thing. And then you're like, Grid Battleforce is a really weird combination of words. But sure, it just kind of works until you think about it too hard.
Battleforce doesn't even seem like it would be one word. No.
Well, and like it's incredibly aggressive. Grid Battleforce. And they don't seem to have much of a military presence other than the Rangers, and they don't have the Rangers until episode 1. So what is the Battle Force?
Battling to get Morphex towers around the city.
That's all Nate.
There's a simple explanation for that.
Already?
This season had a big focus on family. And I didn't realize it the first time I watched it, but watching through the second time, it was very much the team was doing their best to not let down their parents, or at least like figure out how to live their own lives without, breaking their parents' heart necessarily.
I think it's really interesting that Nate is the only one with 2 parents. Where's Ravi's dad? Where's Devin's mom? Where's Zoe's dad? Are they dead, or are they absent, or do they just not show up because they're not important?
There's a simple explanation for that.
I will say there was a lot more focus on other Ranger teams in season 2 that I wish they would have done a little bit more of in season 1 and kind of like filled out the whole series with, because they introduced this as kind of a dimension that never had Power Rangers, but through their dimensional technology had some technology from other Ranger teams. So they were able to kind of play around with and access all of that. It had a whole room with the vault and all the old technology, and I really would have liked to see them do a little more with that, except for like saving it for 4 episodes down the line.
But Beast Morphers is in the main timeline, right?
That's where it's hard to tell because they reference so many of the original villains and heroes, so it's hard to really tell once they talk about interdimensional bad guys that they're trying to fight against, and the computer dimension is technically its own world that the villains go to. So it kind of gets a little timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly when it comes to...
it's an interesting idea because for sure, definitely they interact with Dino Charge and RPM, and both of those are in separate dimensions, which we already know they're in separate from like the main timeline. But you're right. Anytime they interact with any of the other Rangers from the main timeline, there is kind of a degree of separation. Like they call the Rangers later on to tell them that, Scrozzle has escaped, helped by Lord Zed. Spoilers. And they only communicate through the screen, which, I mean, granted, that doesn't necessarily mean they're in another dimension. And then when Jason shows up, he comes out of the MorphX. So he's like brought there by the Morphin grid. So they could be in another dimension.
There's a simple explanation for that.
But before we get into all of that, make sure you guys strap on your Beast X Morphers, hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on a single video here on the channel.
And as always, guys, in every Ranger Rabble episode, towards the end, we give out the Golden Morpher. This morpher represents either the best or worst of the season based on, well, all three of our different opinions. Be sure to leave your comments below about who you think should get the Golden Morpher, and go to our other social medias and leave a comment too, and we might just respond to your comment with a video or comment of our own.
Home sweet headquarters.
Their command center for this season is it's a lab, essentially. And there's lots of computers and stuff in the lab, and this season just really made me scratch my head with a lot of the decisions that they made. There's so many things, and I know this is one of your favorite seasons of Power Rangers, so I don't mean to crap on your parade, but this season, the choices that they made, first of all, they used the robots as the Beast Bots. The Beast Bots, yes, the Beast Bots. They're always in that command center for some reason. No one knows where they go.
We know why they're always in the command center, because they take Cruz out in the battlefield and he gets kidnapped.
Yeah, Jax, for someone who can, like, a jackrabbit you would expect to move so fast, is the slowest of the Beast Bots. Just like
R2 unit, for sure. What is Nate's like freakish hidden kink that he was like, you know what I want to use as a steering wheel? My friend's face. I feel very uncomfortable about that. Like, it's Jax, Cruz, and what's the gorilla's name? Smash. When Smash's face like opens up into a steering wheel and he's right between Ravi's knees, I'm just like, God, it's wrong. Something about it is wrong.
I never understood the Morph X aspect of the season. Like, for me personally, when I think of the morphing grid, I don't think of there being this thing called Morph X that's in the grid. I think that it's just a literal plane of existence in the Rangerverse, and it's just like that's where the power comes from, is this little grid.
I see it as Nate. So the MorphX is the thing that Nate made. It's kind of like Power Rangers Flubber. He took the energy from the morphing grid, which is more of like we've seen it in a couple seasons. It's like a sort of non-spacey space. I would think of it as more like electrical energy. And then he's turned that into goo. And he's like, I have this green goo. We can make anything with it. And then the mayor's like, yeah, and so could anybody who steals it. And Commander Shaw's like, that won't be a problem at all. And it's immediately a problem.
More phenomenal mentor.
See, that's the only problem is you gave Commander Shaw way too much personality. Unfortunately, she did not have a whole lot of like gusto and excitement going for her. Rangers, we have a problem happening in this sector. You should probably go now.
Blaze and a Robotron have been seen at a construction site in Sector Foxtrot 16. I'll contact Devin.
But that's the script's fault. I feel like she's so boringly written just to push plot points forward, but that actress is such a diva. Like, when she walks in a room, I'm like, she's got it. She makes good, like, serious, grumpy faces. I'm just like, I love her, but yeah, no, all she ever says is go over here, go over there. Don't follow your dreams.
Art is stupid.
Don't date people because
There's a simple explanation for that.
Connections are bad.
I think that she has some very seriously unprocessed trauma that we don't know about. Like
Papa Ravi done her dirty.
Like Doggy Kruger, his trauma's all out on the table in SPD. You know exactly what went wrong and exactly when it went wrong. So when he acts crazy, you're like, PTSD. When Commander Shaw does shit, I'm like, I think she has PTSD too, but I don't know why.
It's giving Coco vibes where like the musician runs off to go be famous and the wife's like, I will never listen to music again.
That is exactly it. That's how she feels about artists.
I will say though, the Beast Bots did at least kind of give some comic relief to the season. Not a whole lot, but giant anthropomorphized robots can only really give you so much to work with in a season.
Well, and Kelson Henderson. Any excuse to have Kelson Henderson in any Power Rangers season, I love.
Yeah, he just keeps coming back, and I will just take it.
Yeah, and it makes it feel like Cruz has so much more personality. I think he does get more screen time than the other Beast Bots because he's the Red Ranger's Beast Bot, and the Red Ranger's important, so they have a lot more of a back and forth. And he has some solo episodes with like getting kidnapped, but it's also, I think, just that I like Kelson Henderson, so when I hear him talking, I'm like, that's my guy.
But Cruz at least had a function other than being a Beast Bot. He was a Beast Bot and a motorcycle, where the other two didn't have that alternative function, so it kind of rendered them like, hey, I guess you're going to be my sparring partner, or like, hey, go plug in my tablet for me real quick, because I need your help. Getting into our Rangers a little bit, so we're talking about Nate, our boy genius. He creates his own robot body that Evox almost uses to become or to have his own robot form, but he bonds it with himself and is able to become the Gold Ranger. And then we also get the Silver Ranger. But I've always been very confused because if you look at Rangers and their color coordination with their outfits, Nate has light blue in his lab coat, so he technically should have been the light blue one, and Steel is covered in gold accents, so he should have been the Gold Ranger. So I was not sure why they went and said, nope, let's just give you a little flip-floppy. And
also, the writers chose to give Nate a name, and his name is Nate Silva. His last name is basically Silver. I was certain he would be the Silver Ranger and Steel would be the Gold Ranger, especially with the gold accents, right? And technically speaking, Steel's last name is also Silva, but they never call him that.
There's a simple explanation for that.
It's also weird to change the insects from the Sentai because they're both beetles in the Sentai, and then they went with a mantis. And granted, mantises are much more popular, I think, with American adolescents, but I don't know. It was a weird move because then there are inconsistencies with the Zord design.
So from what I read and watched earlier, they changed the bugs because they didn't think that the American children would be able to pronounce the Beatles and stuff like that. And they wanted to make it more simpler for the children because Saban and all them, they're all about the kids.
They're all about dramatically underestimating their audience.
Wasn't there two Beatles in Ninja Storm? So it's not like we haven't had two Beatles on screen before. So
there's a simple explanation for that.
So along with Nate, we had Zoe, who was originally enrolled in the Battleforce Academy and washed out. And because she washed out, they sent her down to the laundry room to work.
It's a really weird move. I don't know. That's weird. That's like if I applied to be a security guard, failed, and they were like, you should be a custodial worker. I'm like, what is that? Those are not even remotely the same thing. Surely I must have, like, qualifications to apply for the laundry room, right?
I could be the henchman arbitrarily turning knobs, making it seem like I'm doing something, but I'm not. You know, she definitely grew on me as the season progressed. You know, she was the problem solver, not afraid of big problems.
I'm not afraid of big problems. I solve big problems.
Yeah, I adore her. I love her catchphrase. I love her spunky attitude. Also, team therapist. Anytime anyone else has a problem, Zoe fixes it. She's like, I'm going to go talk to you, and then I'm going to go talk to you, and then I'm going to give you both a little piece of wisdom you don't want to hear about how you should stop being crazy. When Nate and Steele had an argument about basketball, because apparently they have the emotional maturity of a carrot.
Only if Zoe doesn't eat him first for more energy.
Jesus Christ.
Ravi was... I felt bad for Ravi this season because he just kept getting the shit end of the stick. His mom just would not let him do art. His mom wouldn't let him date people. He was just like, well, I guess I'm just going to go home and do my math homework and call it a day.
Yeah, like every bad rule directly affects him. None of them affect Devin, and that's not fair. Devin's got his own problems with his dad, but like Grid Battleforce isn't giving him any shit. They just let him use the like holographic danger room thing that he broke in there to see. He's all like excited and having a good time constantly. I feel like he hardly ever even cares if he's reprimanded. Meanwhile, Ravi's like over there taking everything super to heart and just having a bad time.
It seems like he grew up in Grid Battleforce. It was kind of like his mom was coming up through the ranks and, single mom had to bring her kid to work. So he very much had to learn the ins and outs and the rules and everything. And that kind of molded him into the rule follower that he ended up being.
He definitely gets to be happier in season 2. But it's funny, even in season 2, like he's allowed to have the girlfriend, he's allowed to be an artist, and yet his biggest character building episode is one where they get in a big argument and he's like super unhappy. I'm like, wow, that sucks. He's still having a hard time. His girlfriend thinks he's cheating on her, doesn't trust him.
Can't catch a freaking break, man.
He's just texting an old woman. Also, he should be allowed to have female friends.
Ravi smash!
Oh, no.
We also had our Red Ranger, Devin, and he was our big video gamer, and definitely had some good leadership skills that he displayed throughout the season, despite what they tried to pull at the very end, where they were questioning his style just to kind of lay a trap for the Rangers, but he definitely kept the team together in times of struggle.
Yeah, I think his kind of blasé attitude where he just generally stumbled into being a Ranger immediately worked out with Ravi being so career-oriented and Zoe having so much to prove. It's like the second episode where they're arguing about who's going to be the leader, and both of them are losing their shit. And he's like, hey, guys, maybe we don't argue in front of the monster.
He already waited for us to do our morphing thing. We probably shouldn't keep him waiting.
Yeah. There are a lot of things about the season that are really rudimentary. They get sick and the solutions are so not at all related to the animals. It's like a child brain version. He's angry. He gets overheated. He needs to cool down because he's a big gorilla.
He's strong now.
Strong gorilla. She needs carrots. Jackrabbits don't eat carrots. I don't even think regular bunnies really need carrots.
It's bad for their eyes.
Also, so unfair because Devin's weakness comes up, I think, twice in like both seasons, whereas Ravi and Zoe, it comes up multiple times and is like a legitimate crippling issue when arguably there are more dogs in the world than the likelihood that Ravi is going to overheat. And yet Devin almost kills Ravi that one time when he has the Fury cells, and Ravi's like, "Oh God, I'm sweating to death, man!" And he's like, "Rah!" You're just like, "Wow, that is a shitty weakness."
And at the same time, it felt like after they had filmed it a couple of times, they were like, okay, we can't keep doing this to the Red Ranger, making him afraid of dogs. The other two, at least, it made sense. It was a physical, like, depletion or a detriment to them, so they needed to at least do something else. Where, oh yes, a dog is around. I'm frozen.
Well, if they had gone just a touch up of complexity with what cured the issues, then it could have been like, you know, cats need raw meat in their diet. Maybe he needs to eat some raw meat, and he gets all like weak and debilitated like they do if he goes too hard in a fight. But just like baby braining it down to big cat frozen when see dog, you're like, oh, okay.
There's a simple explanation for that.
Evil endeavors.
So this season of Power Rangers, the bad guys they're pretty bad. They're pretty angry. They're pretty mean. And leading the Armada, I love using that word, Armada. Just sounds so like. We have Evox, and Evox is he's a sentient computer virus. He's pure data. And we come to find out later on in the show that Evox is actually Venjix.
Oh my God! The whole time.
Oh, such a great reveal.
It's one of the greatest loose end tie-offs that Power Rangers has done, honestly.
And we also come to find out that our Gold Ranger accidentally created this entire thing when he was just a wee lad.
Why was he just pouring snake DNA into an RPM morpher?
Because his parents didn't care about him enough to stick around and raise him in their damn selves, so they stuck him in a lab and said, here you go.
It doesn't seem like in any way it would ever do any. That's like if I took a cell phone and just dunked it in orange juice and was like, this is a science experiment. It's not. You're just dumping liquid into a piece of machinery.
There's a simple explanation for that.
The initial reveal of him too, like the first time you see him in that little beaker with that dude, I'm gonna be honest, I was like, oh shit. I jumped back a little bit. Just the whole presence of Evox is just intimidating.
I really enjoyed his robot form, the like green and the like wire dreadlocks. Yeah, it was so good. So good.
And it also kind of incorporates the snake. I mean, he's got like a big triangle, which is a lot like the Cobra panels. And I think the locks also kind of feel snaky, like kind of a Medusa thing. I wasn't all about the digital villain in season 1 because I'm more of a practical person, but I think it works because the voice actor is really committing, and then we have Scrozzle, who is like full costume piece, and then we have Blaze and Roxy, who have cool costumes. But I tend to like a villain that is something someone has sculpted or crafted. I like a Scorpius. Little breathing puppet with moving tentacles.
They definitely relied on the voice actors to really carry the performances, and the voice actor, the person who did the voice for Venjix, Andrew Lang, was the same one who did the voice for Evox, but they did it under a pseudonym, so they didn't ruin the reveal at the end. So it's good to see that they were at least like prepped for that along the way. And then the voice actor for Scrozzle was the same one as
everybody,
Cosmo Royale, and some other ones that down the road in the Hasbro season.
Campbell Cooley.
Yes, Campbell Cooley.
Campbell
there
Cooley
it is.
is bestest. Yes. I could just plug Campbell Cooley real quick. He's amazing. He's talented. If you ever see him at a convention, please go talk to him. He's so much fun to talk to. Make sure he's wearing a vest. If he's not wearing a vest, he's an evil clone.
I actually had Campbell Cooley comment on one of my TikToks praising my Stone Cold voice. I was very touched by that. I was like, Because I was like, Campbell Cooley, what another name? And I look at him like, oh my God, Power Ranger villain.
Legend.
Oh my God.
I mean, Campbell Cooley and Kelson Henderson are really like competing to see who can be in more seasons.
Speaking of Scrozzle, he is an interesting. He starts out as kind of like his own villain, like they transport to his kind of dimension, and then he's very quickly like, "Oh, cool! Like you can take over. I'll just jump in the passenger seat and just let you do your thing."
He's a real path of least resistance kind of guy. And continues to be, as he continues to be in the show for the next couple seasons. He's just like, whoever looks like they're going to win, as long as they don't blow me up, I'm with them.
Yeah. I enjoy that he came back and was hiding in the RPM universe at the end of the season. So that was a nice way for them to bring back Colonel Truman and just kind of throw a couple more RPM Easter eggs at us, which was such a good little
I love our
combination.
On top of Evox, we've got Blaze and Roxy, which in my opinion is the Evil Rangers done right. Don't get me wrong. The Psycho Rangers are still my favorite Evil Rangers to this day and will always be, because
that's fair.
That at the age I was watching Power Rangers, seeing a whole team of evil ones come out, I'm just like, oh no.
They also have like untoppable suits. The Psycho Ranger suits are just like,
dude,
they're sexy. I don't know why they're sexy. They just are.
They're so cool. The Psycho Rangers are so freaking cool. But Blaze and Roxy are the original two red and yellow Power Rangers. And as they are going through their metamorphosis process, they get corrupted by Evox, and he turns them into avatars, as they're called. So he's basically pulling the strings of these puppets the entire time. But they're mean. Like, they're really good bad guys.
Their dialogue was written with care. The actors do a really good job, and their costumes look really cool. They're very effective villains.
I like how they kept the initial kind of outfit that they used to morph when they did their first morph. They kind of kept that initial, but like a darker version of it. And I wish we had seen the Rangers have like that be their like battle force uniforms. Like when they show up to work, they're in like more uniform necessarily. And I mean, like, yeah, they have their moments in their civilian clothes, but it would have been cool to see them utilize those outfits a little bit more.
You know, that's really interesting. The Beast Morphers Rangers don't have pre-morph suits. And you would really think they would. But that's funny. Now I'm thinking the Lightspeed Rescue Rangers don't either. Kelsey's always in her little exercise outfit. Carter's always in his plain red shirt. That's
always the jacket, though.
Yeah.
The jacket was always their way of just kind of covering that up.
Because, I mean, like Lost Galaxy, when they're working at GSA, they have the uniforms on. SPD, they always have their cadet uniforms on. It seems like if you're working...
In space, their uniforms are on.
Yeah, if you're working for like a pseudo-government agency like Lightspeed Rescue or Grid Battleforce, I would think you would be required to wear... But it almost seems like the Rangers kind of have like favoritism carte blanche to do whatever they want. Like Shaw's not making them wear the uniforms. They're getting away with it.
Or one rule that works out for Ravi.
Ravi does always wear his though, doesn't he? The other two don't, but he does.
I feel like sometimes they get away with just like either like a gray, white, or black, like a solid colored jacket on top of their solid colored shirt. So they kind of look a little bit more uniformed. Even Ben and Betty will sometimes have their like green and purple that they'll kind of be synonymous to.
Yeah,
but then be in like jumpsuits every once in a while for the rest of it.
They at least always have like on a jacket with like a little embroidered GB. And I'm like, well, that's not fair. They have to wear a uniform.
I was waiting for them to become Rangers. I wanted them to be like a green and purple Ranger.
Well, you know, in the Go Busters movie, there is a Black Ranger and a Green Ranger. And then there's a frog Green Ranger from something. And they don't, like, when they buy the footage for a Sentai season, they don't get rights to the movies because technically it's a different license. So there are a lot of things we get in movies that people are like, well, why didn't we get that in Power Rangers? It's because they don't have the same license. But a lot of people in between the first and second season of Beast Morphers were like, are Ben and Betty going to become Rangers? Is Betty going to be the green frog? Is Ben going to be the Black Ranger? And then, of course, it didn't happen. But I feel like that's a real missed opportunity. It would have been really cool.
So we had the Tronics, which are like the putties of this season. And I'm drawing a blank as to what they were called when they were bigger.
Gigadrones?
Gigadrones. Good job. Gigadrone.
Okay. Yes. So the bigger monsters were called Gigadrones, and they were literally just recycled monsters that Scrozzle found and was like,
I like you, Zap. Now you're big.
He's got like a giant factory filled with Stories High robots and a huge teleporter pad. And he's just like, send one of the giant robots. I'm like, dude, did you build those all yourself?
The one thing that I enjoyed about that aspect with the Gigadrones was it could be kind of separate villains than the like monster of the week they were fighting. So you have two different fights with the Megazord on one end and then still having be able to use like their weapons and like hand-to-hand combat on the regular monsters. Later on, I think in like season 2, they kind of they brought in two other villains. So Ryjax and Vargoyle were another two kind of, I guess, henchmen that Scrozzle was kind of playing around with in the digital universe.
Well, Vargoyle's like hunting Scrozzle and he finds him, and then Venjax is like, don't kill my Scrozzle. How about I'm cooler than you, so now you work for me. And Vargoyle, there's a really bad tradition, not bad, there's a good tradition in Power Rangers, but I don't know why the villains don't catch on, that if you're like, you think you're hot shit, and you come in at the end of a season and you're like, I can kill the Rangers, you're going to be there for 2 or 3 episodes. You're going to make them very sad. And then you are toasted, dude. You are absolutely not going to succeed. And Vargoyle did not get my memo. I sent out a really well-written thing. And I was like, don't do it. But he did it anyway.
Awesome armory.
As far as the weapons that the Rangers have, they have their little FaceTime wrist communicators that can teleport things. So when they tap it, their morpher teleports to them. From what I can understand, it's and then it's the thing.
Does it teleport or does it materialize? That's my question. Was it like it's a little hockey puck that it's stored in, and when you tap the hockey puck, it materializes? But there's also teleportation involved with other things, so...
I was going to say, it could be like the Zeo ones where you turn your wrist a certain way and it just like appears. Their morphers were pretty much the same as the Sentai morphers, but they included a animal key, kind of turbo, kind of dino, the Brachiozord with Dino Thunder. Their morphers were actually kind of cool because their visor would pop out of the base of it, which was interesting because I guess in the Sentai they were very much into having their sunglasses, so when that would kind of mirror that for their suits.
Yeah, it's like the sunglasses morphers meets the wrist morphers. They've included both aspects.
And that was kind of like the Striker morpher was a combination of a morpher and a gun. So they were like, well, we can communicate on it, we can morph with it, and then I can shoot you with it if I need to. Pew pew.
I don't feel comfortable about my gun being a phone. I'm too clumsy for that. That's...
When I say fire off a text message, that's not what I mean.
Yeah.
I will say the overall morph for this season, slightly underwhelming compared to some of the other ones we've got. It was just a CG tornado, and you got their animal head that would kind of appear, and then their glasses would show up. They also had their Beast X sabers and their Beast X blasters, which would combine to make the Beast X cannon, which was a nice little piece of firepower. And it was cool that they kind of moved away from the like hip blasters. It wasn't something that they needed to have on them at all times, although they figured out transportation for all of their weapons, but not for themselves.
Yeah, interesting. I do. It's pretty sweet though. The like tap the thing, the gun teleports, and you grab it out of the air. It just looks cool, you know.
Yeah. And I think if I remember correctly, all their weapons were pretty much in like one specific teleportation case. So as long as it was on the right shelf, you can, call for it.
Yeah.
We also had Red Fury mode, which was a temporary battleizer that was used in season 1, but surprisingly never brought back for season 2. It used the Fury cells. The Fury cells were pretty intense. They turned Devin into a feral version of himself that his team had to deal with.
I quite enjoy that episode. The emotional speech from Ravi as Devin is like freaking out. You're like, Devin, get it together, man.
Balanced out so well by Ben and Betty making a salad with the cheetah claws.
Then you have the Beastbot armor. I don't remember what it's called.
Beast X mode, when they had the Beast visors.
So what's your opinion on Beast X mode being a full team battleizer or just a power up?
I would consider it a power up. I don't know that it hits like battleizer level of. Battleizers always felt like they were more overpowered, like giant lasers and skis and roller skates and wings, and this just kind of seemed like we're going to combine with our beast bots just to give them something to do for a few minutes.
Fair. It's like legendary mode in Mystic Force or the Lights of Orion. I always feel like the line between battleizer and power up is so wiggly and gray.
Especially when, I think Lightspeed Rescue was the only one that had 3 colors that had a battleizer, and everyone else was kind of just like, you can kind of use this one every once in a while. I know in like Samurai they had that like shark mode that Jaden and Mike had kind of used. So every once in a while they'll pass on the battleizer to somebody else. And then their last weapon was the Cheetah Beast Blaster, which was used in the Megazord, and that was used for the final strike.
Yep.
Which, why you needed a gun to shoot to make your Megazord with a sword do a final strike.
There's a simple explanation for that.
It could be a safety measure. Maybe you don't want the Zord to just kind of explode randomly, so you need the gun to make sure. It doesn't make sense. And he shoots it, and he's inside.
Right, I was just about to say, he's shooting his own cockpit at that point, so Cruz gets destroyed by the Cheetah Blaster every episode and has to get rebuilt.
Yeah. Cruz is like, there's a complaint box, and every time Nate opens it, there's a note that's like, hey, can we change the Cheetah Beast Blaster? He's like, Cruz, stop putting this in here. I said no. In Beast X mode, so they all have civilian powers. Zoe's got high jump, Devin's got cheetah speed, and Ravi has gorilla strength. And then when they do Beast X mode, they get like a second tier. It's like you put XP into that power again, so you get the second tier. And the second tier of speed is teleportation, which sure, because how would you get there faster than speed? Teleport. The second tier of jumping is basically like flight, but it's more kind of like levitation. Sure, it's like a permanent jump. And the second tier of strength is like molecular alteration. Ravi can like touch a building and pull a weapon made out of the material the building is made out of and use it to destroy robots. He makes like a steel beam by touching something made of steel. What is happening? Why is that his power?
The Magical Morphex Mystery Tour.
Mega Madness.
Speaking of our Beast Bots, they were, like we said a little bit, they were part of the cockpits for their Zords. So instead of having animal Zords, they had more vehicles that could kind of have secondary like transformations. So there was the Racer Zord for the Red Ranger, the Wheeler Zord for the Blue Ranger, and the Chopper Zord for the Yellow Ranger. It was interesting to see how they played like their animal-controlled beasts with vehicles.
I like the helicopter. We don't get a lot of helicopters in Power Rangers.
No.
The last helicopter we had was Ninja Storm.
Yeah,
Cam's
Cam.
Megazord was the helicopter.
Cam's helicopter, yep. So our 3 Zords would come together to make the Beast X Megazord, which was a interesting combination with there only being 3 Zords. We also had the Gold Ranger's Zord, which was the Wrecker Zord, and the Silver Ranger's Jet Zord, and the 2 of those would become the Striker Megazord.
The Gold Ranger Zord to me seems so clunky it's no longer functional. With the big crane arm, you would think it would be useful, but it seems so incredibly square in a way, like in the way that it moves and in like the bit at the end. Every time I see it, I'm like, certainly you can't use that for anything.
Yeah, the way it comes together, like that crossbar across, you just think it would have no actual movement.
Yeah.
Then we also had Megan, who created the Beast X King Zord, which had bike mode and lion mode and battle mode. And it was kind of a weird looking lion, but not the weirdest looking lion Zord that we had. I think that definitely always is going to go to Dustin's Lion Zord for me. His is definitely the strangest of the lions.
Megan, I think, had a lot of therapy in between her first and second appearance. She's a different person.
Completely. The therapy was...
She has like a supervillain moment right after she's introduced. She's like, here's my resume. And then she turns around and the camera's like on her face and she's like, I will have that job. And you're like, oh my God, she gonna kill somebody. Like, and then she's just like, I'm sorry.
You would have expected that kind of level of deception from like the avatars of Blaze and Roxy throughout the season.
Yeah.
Not so much this like run-of-the-mill scientist who's just like, oh, look, I see an opportunity and teehee, blackmail.
He's an evil mastermind. I would have liked for her to come back worse. More evil. She's like, and I've been working on this Zord because I hate you guys. We need more like human villains, you know? Why's it always gotta be a monster? We could have villains coming from other places.
She humbly says to them, look, Nate, whatever you're going to do is not going to work, so you should probably just listen to me because I know what I'm doing. And she was correct. He did done fuck it up and made a Megazord that was attacking them. So sometimes you got to get off your high horse and listen to other people.
Yep.
We had the Beast X Megazord, and that would combine with all of the Zords to make the Beast King Ultra Zord.
Not a big Ultra Zord fan. They're too big. We've gone too far. We've done too much.
At least it was only 5 Zords, or like 5 or 6 that they combined, as opposed to, you know, some of the other ones where it's like, let's take 14 Zords and combine them all together.
I like the ones where they have like 20 Zords, and what they do instead of making an Ultra Zord is they all just kind of stand next to each other and shoot lasers out of their faces. And you're like, this is an effective technique.
Are those Zords with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads?
Yes, they are.
And I was very happy that there was not a lot of Zords because, there have been some very unfortunate seasons where we have been here for quite some time talking about all the fucking Zords.
You know, if we didn't have seasons where there are an excessive amount of Zords, then we wouldn't have my favorite Zord, which is the Wild Force Purple Armadillo. It's so cute!
Only so they could have a CGI soccer game.
Exactly. It's perfect.
The one thing that I enjoyed about season 2 was that they had a lot of cool cameos. They definitely used a Metal Hero costume for Chaku, that like silver guy that was fighting against Ryjax.
Chaku needed hair like therapy, not help. he's like, I never want to see my child again and be an absent father because I have like scarring essentially on the side of my face. I've been absent in my child's life with no explanation because I think I'm ugly. Meanwhile, Steel's over here, can't even eat ice cream. He just wants the human experience. Chaku has everything that Steel wants, and they waste their one shot to make Steel a human on giving Chaku half of his fucking face back just so he'll go be a fucking dad.
Deadbeat Chaku, more than meets the eye.
He's a terrible person. I do not like him. He is not going to be a good father. If that is like what it takes to make him completely ignore a child, I do not have faith in him.
It's a pretty low bar at that point. It's like, oh no, my eye is gone. I guess I can't be a dad. Ryjax showed up and he revives Putties and Vivax, which eventually makes sense because we had the all Dino episode, so it would make sense that would be the villains that they had. Goldar was revived, but it was a different
Goldar Maximus.
Because he just got a makeover and then made
dude,
him maxified.
I hated Goldar Maximus.
Not a huge
That
fan.
voice was rough.
If you're gonna bring back Goldar, he better sound like this. Oh, get the Power Rangers! Like, that is what I want to hear.
It's also kind of a lot, and Goldar's already a lot, especially when he has the wings, but then the armor being all the same color kind of blends. And I know, like, we're splitting hairs here because it's a Sentai design anyway, he's Goldar and Scorpiona's kid in the Sentai, right?
Yeah.
But it just, I don't know, the material the hair was made out of has a lot going on, and like the added stuff on the suit, it's a little overwhelming to look at, which is kind of a hypocritical critique of literally anything in Power Rangers.
The crossover with Dino Charge was actually a fun one, and the reason why that happened was because the American seasons were done out of order. So in Sentai, it went Dino Charge, Go Busters, and then Ninja Steel. I wanted a little bit more from the all Dino Ranger battle. It kind of felt like a last minute thought for the end of the episode, but
I just want a little body diversity. Like, and I'm actually not entirely certain if that footage, some of it's got to be from Japan, but some of it has to be from America because they run up behind ASJ. And granted, you couldn't fit the two together, and probably the Japanese suit actors are all a certain size. But like, when all of those guys jump out of the portals and run up, and I'm like, some of these people are 40 and, you know, they're living their life. Why are they all like 4 feet tall and 1 foot wide? Every single one of them.
I did like their the combination of all of their weapons into that like super weapon. That was cool, and seeing all 3 Megazords fight together, even though some of those Zords were destroyed, but I guess if the power is back, then the Zord is back.
There's a simple explanation for that.
I always think it's hilarious at the end of a huge team up like that when the main season team are like, we still have to go do a bunch of work and people are dying, and the other teams are like, we know you guys can do it, champ, we're gonna go that way. And I'm like, you're not gonna help?
Go get them.
You're gonna help them? Like, have fun going home and still struggling every single day to fight monsters that Blaze and Roxy throw at you. All 35 of us are gonna go to TGI Fridays, you know, like, it feels so incredibly dismissive whenever someone is like, hand on the shoulder, they're like, your town is in good hands. You're gonna be a great team.
The town's on fire.
Oh yes, Vinjax is really strong, but he's got some good strong guys to handle him. And you're like, okay.
Did you not just see us get our shit pushed in 3 times to Wednesday? Like, that's why you guys are here.
Also, it just so happened to work out that after Goldar Maximus stole Energems, that the other, that Devin was able to bring Energems filled with Morphex to just get around the fact that they didn't have their power anymore. It was like, yeah, you don't need to fight to get your power back. We'll just fake it.
Morphex is a powerful tool. Just got some batteries, put some Morphex in them.
When in doubt.
Morphex out. The Golden Morpher. My Golden Morpher is going to go to Evox. Strictly because of the Venjix reveal. Did not see that coming when I was watching it for the first time. And it was just like the whole entity of Evox in this season is just crazy because he has so much control because he is control. He is data.
Yeah.
Like he is the control of everything, and he's powered partially by the morphing grid, which gives him even more power. Them using technology as the villain for a season, well done.
He was really cool about going back to like the old Lord Zed style of like take a random thing and make it into a bad guy. So like just inject a little bit of Evox into it and like we'll just make you a robot now. So it was cool to see random everyday objects just get morph-exified.
Yeah, I super enjoy that. And the complete and total randomness with which Blaze and Roxy would be like, I don't know, how about a tire? It's here.
Beauty, what would you give your Golden Morpher to?
I'm probably gonna be alone on this one, but spinning table woman. She's the light of my life. So in the main control room of Grid Battleforce, where Commander Shaw has that chair she sits in where she oversees the Zord battles, there are two long tables with technicians at them. They don't have character names. And when they engage in a Zord battle, the tables turn and like spin and rotate in the room, and you can see them like moving. So there's this one woman with brown hair and a little hat who sits at one of
the bangs.
Yeah. And every time they have a Zord fight, her little table moves and she'll be like, shoot it in the knee or what. She's like, Rangers, we're sending back up now. She has like one line every other episode. And I love that she's there and she's doing her job and she's doing it effectively. And I love that her table moves. I don't know why I love it so much. And also, if I were going to be in Power Rangers, that's the part I would want. Because, like, you get to be there on set, but you don't have to do any stunts. You don't have to memorize your lines. You get a cute little uniform. You get to meet all the other actors. And you can just point at it and be like, I'm there. I was there in every episode, and you probably never even noticed. So Spinning Table Woman is my Golden Morpher. I love her so much.
That's incredible. I'm gonna have to also give mine to Venjix. It was the perfect reveal for a villain that I wasn't expecting, and it definitely was the catalyst to making me go back and watch RPM again and give me a lot more appreciation for that season and just like letting that story just kind of continue itself. So Venjix all day.
Well done.
Well done. All right. Well, that about wraps it up for us here on Power Rangers Beast Morphers. This was a very fun season, to say the least. It had some really fun surprises. It had some moments that made you scratch your head. And overall, Kyle, what would you give this season?
Well, I hated the suits because of the leather.
We didn't actually talk about the suits.
We didn't.
So, okay. So we've got a clearly different opinion. So
I love them because they're different.
They were
I think
different.
they're really cool.
They were different. It was just like, it was the design of the top half.
I love them.
The gun racks without the guns, kind of like suspenders. I see what you mean.
Yeah. Like if they had like the little shoulder things that they put on originally when they were getting ready to like do the whole transfer, like all right, that's like that would have been kind of cool. You got little shoulder pads on you, makes you look badass. And when you're in the suit, okay, like put like a gold fringe or something like that on them to kind of like balance everything out. But I didn't like the I called it a jacket. It wasn't the top. It was a jacket, in my opinion.
It is a jacket.
And it looked weird. The visors were cool when they did the morph and the visor came out. I'm like, okay, sunglasses. Leo knows I hated the sunglasses morphers. I thought they were so stupid. But the visor coming out from the wrist and going poop, I was like, all right, that's cool.
Classy.
But me, I'm gonna give the whole season oh God. I'm gonna give it a 6.
Harsh.
What would you give it?
Me? I would give it an 8.
See, I think I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm like 7.5. I enjoyed a lot of the aspects of it. I really wish there was more of the like season 2 other Ranger kind of cameos that they did kind of spread out in season 1. I think that for me would have just like kept my interest hair more. But yeah, otherwise, this season really was just fun. And as far as like Hasbro taking their first swing at a Power Rangers season, they definitely got on base. I made a sports reference. Beauty, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Beauty Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga spelled Babayagha. My profile picture is a little circle with a yellow hat in it that says BB.
Thank you so much for joining us. It is great to have somebody from the Power Rangers community join us in our Ranger Rabblings. So thank you for joining us.
Of course. Any chance to talk about Power Rangers, honestly.
Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on our next video, Power Rangers Dino Fury. For all of us here at Ranger Rabble, I'm Leo V.
I'm Kyle D.
I'm Beauty Baba Yaga.
Ready? It's morphin' time!
Activate speech power.
Later, guys. Thanks, guys, for checking out Ranger Rabble. If you haven't already, make sure you check out this next video that we're suggesting you, because that's how the algorithm knows that you like what you're watching.